Hi everyone, and welcome to my yoga channel, Tom Yoga Om. Today's class we are going to be working with our core and strengthening the region around our core, our hips, our legs, and our upper body to really get a sense that we can kind of lift ourselves and carry ourselves through life. So let's get to it. To begin with, we are going to start in a elevated kind of child's pose, Balasana. So just come onto your hands and your knees to begin with. And for this one, just tuck your toes under and bring your hips back against your heels. And then reach your arms out in front of you and you should feel a nice stretch into your calves. Try to bring your forehead onto the floor and relax your arms. And let's take 5 deep breaths in and out here. And just notice how you're feeling today. And start by tuning into that physical body. Noticing where you feel tight or open. Breathing in a little bit deeper. And just spending this last breath, making a mental note of how your headspace or your emotions have been recently. Without judging yourself or attaching yourself to them, just power up through those legs and come forward onto your hands and your knees. And keep yourself tuning inwards to how you're going right now. And just flatten your feet out on the floor. As you inhale, drop your belly down, open your chest up. And as you exhale, round your spine up to the ceiling and draw your chin down, just moving through a couple cat-cows. Keep flowing here. Just notice how the energy in your body is going right now. So what I personally mean by energy, because it can be interpreted in a number of ways, is just notice whether you feel like you've got heaps of energy to move and to be present, to focus. Or do you have a different kind of energy right now? Maybe you're feeling a little bit lethargic or slow. Maybe you feel like you've got heaps of energy in your mind, but your body is slow, or that your body is fine, but you're just feeling tired and sleepy. Let's do one more cat-cow here. Notice what's going on. And then bring your attention to your breath. And let's tune our focus away from kind of getting carried away on that thought train of our emotions, of our thoughts, and just focus on the physical body for this practice. And we'll come back to that mental and that thought space later on. Next, I want you to turn your fingers back towards your knees, and I just want you to gently bounce your hips backwards towards your heels to stretch into the forearms and to notice how your wrists are going. And once you've done that 2-3 times, come back into a neutral position and have your fingers pointing forward, and then slowly circle your shoulders around the axes of your wrists. Just a massage into those wrists. Very good. And then we kind of stretched into our calves before. We're going to stretch them a little more now. Bring your ankles together, keep your toes tucked under, and press into your hands. Give your hands a shake out, and at the same time, sit onto your heels into Thunderbolt pose, Virasana. Just take a big breath into your belly, into your chest. And as you exhale, try to soften your shoulders here. And just draw a couple of rotations with them once they're relaxed. And circle the other way. One more breath here. Good, and then to start working into our core to feel a little bit of fire and heat in our body, come forward onto your forearms and bring your hands and your elbows parallel to one another, so the same distance apart from one another. And then step your right leg back, press the heel back behind you and engage the thigh muscle on that right leg. And then do the same thing with the left leg. Come into your forearm balance, forearm plank. Just take 3 deep breaths in and out here and try to lift the space between your shoulders up towards the ceiling. And just breathe. 2 more. One more, filling that core heat up. Good, and after the exhale, drop your knees gently to the floor and slowly roll your belly down onto the ground. And just notice how it feels to sit in this position. Does it feel comfortable? And if it does, lie in this position. If it does feel comfortable, great. If you feel a pinching in your lower back, bring your arms a little further out in front of you. And just let your body relax. And drop your chin down to stretch into your spine. And just take 3 deep breaths here. Relax your shoulders, relax your neck. And try to soften your rib cage down towards the floor. Good. And we're going to actually hold here for 3 more breaths. And I want you to power down into your arms and this time lift your torso up and away and kind of reach it forward. So letting your chest shine, and then lift your chin up to stretch into the throat and take 3 deep breaths here. If you feel like pinching in the back of your neck, you need to just turn your chin, bring your chin a little further downwards just to straighten that. But you're aiming to kind of stretch the front of the throat. Take 3 breaths. Good, and then slowly bring yourself down. And I want you to power up into a plank now, so press into your hands and your knees and lift yourself all the way up. Good, and from here come back into your down dog. So bend your knees and bring your hips back. Just pedal your knees left to right. Feel the stretch in the backs of your legs, and when you're ready, inhale, lift your hips and your heels up. Take a big breath in. And as you exhale, send your hips back and ground your heels down. Stretch into your arms. And just let your head hang here. Breathing, noticing what you're working with today. And taking 1 more round of breath. Good, and then step your left leg forward to the top of your mat. Drop your back knee to the ground and flatten your back foot out on the floor. And from here, sweep both arms up. As you exhale, just sink your hips down. And bring your hands down onto your hips and start to squeeze the muscles of your glutes. So you're engaging them a little bit. And take a big breath in, send your hips back. And as you exhale, engage those glutes, sink your hips forward. Good, hold there, feeling the stretch in that lower body, keeping the torso nice and tall, reach your arms up. 3 deep breaths. Keep breathing. If you want a bit of a challenge, close your eyes and take 1 more round of breath. Good, and then take your right hand onto your left knee and take your left arm back behind you and just twist to that left side. Draw your chin in to keep your neck and your spine nice and long. 2 more breaths. Twisting a little deeper if you feel like it. 1 more. Good, and then sweep back to center, so sweep both arms up. And then bring your hands down onto the floor. And from here, we're going to take that twist a little deeper. So plant your right hand down, just adjacent to your left leg. Take your left hand onto your knee and look upwards. And if you'd like, you can take your right knee up off the floor and engage that right thigh. I'm going to lift our left arm up here, so take a big breath in. And as you exhale, extend it to the top of your mat. It's a pretty standard, but we're going to switch it up in a moment. Before we do anything though, reach out through those left fingertips, reach back through that right heel. Have a go at looking up if it's all right for your neck. 1 more. Good, and then bring that left hand down onto the floor. If you'd like, you can drop that back knee to the ground just for the time being. And then we're going to take our hands as far forward in front of us as we can without taking that left knee forward. So we're just reaching forward with our hands. Then I'd like you to take your left hand and bring it between your left foot and your right knee. And then walk it as far back behind you as you can. So it's a bit of a weird Spider-Man-like stretch. Now what I'd like you to do is press your back up to the ceiling and lift your right leg up off the floor and feel that nice stretch for your shoulders. Take 3 deep breaths there. Keep breathing. And last one. Feels good, eh? All right, bring your hands onto the inside of that left leg. And from here, we're going to drop our right heel to the right side. Step our left foot to the halfway point in the mat. So all of our toes are pointing out to the left. Lift your left arm up. Take a big breath in. 3 deep breaths. Pretty easy plank, but we're going to switch it up again. Power down through that right arm. Reach up through your left arm. Lift your hips up. And take one more breath. Good, and then drop your hips down and reach your left arm out. You should feel a nice stretch in that right side of your body. Good, and from here, just take a big breath in and out. Next breath in, power down through the fingers and the knuckles of that right hand. Lift your left arm up, lift the hips up too. And as you exhale, drop the hips down. 1. Let's do 2 more. 2. 1 more. 3. Good. And then from here, lift that left arm up, lift the hips up again, and bring everything back to the top of the mat. Step back into your plank and just do a vinyasa. So lowering yourself down onto your torso. Notice the strength in your right arm as you flow here into your cobra or your up dog. And then draw your draw your core in as you come back into your down dog. Bend the knees left to right. Take 2 more breaths here and notice that strength in the right arm. Notice if it's different from the left. Good. When you're ready, step that right foot forward, breathing in, and drop your left knee down to the floor. Good. Flatten the left foot out on the ground. Inhale, sweep your arms up. And just start by bringing your hands onto your hips. Engage the muscles of your glutes, so the butt muscles, and then just sink your hips down. Feel that steadiness and that strong grounding sensation in the floor. And then sweep your arms up. Again, you can challenge yourself by closing your eyes or looking up between your hands. Keep reaching, finding that extension. And take 1 more round of breath here. And as you exhale, take that right hand onto your lower back, left hand onto your left knee and twist to your right side. Relax your shoulders, draw your chin in and extend up through the top of your head. Last one, twist a little deeper if you'd like. Good, then sweep both arms up. And as you exhale, bring your hands down onto the floor, this time grounding that left hand onto the inside of that right foot. Take your right hand onto your knee, just twist to your right side to begin with. Good. And then tuck your left toes under, lift your right arm up for a nice twist, and then bring that right hand forward and find the stretch in the side of your body, in the flank of your body. You can deepen this stretch by pressing more into your right foot. Otherwise, just extend as much as you can. Draw that chin in towards the neck and think of reaching out through the top of the head. Take 1 more round of breath. Good, and then sweep your left arm up. And from here, we're going to step that left foot to the halfway point in the mat. Draw both sets of toes to point to the right. Lift that right arm up. 2 more breaths, lift the hips up. And reach up through that right arm. Good, and then bring your right hand out above that left leg, drop your hips down, and just hold here for 2 breaths. My left side feels a lot tighter than my right side. What is your experience right now? And just take 1 more breath here. And then we're going to flow. So when you're ready, inhale, sweep your arm up, lift your hips up, breathing in. And exhale, lower down. 2 more. Inhale, sweeping up. And exhale, lower down. And last one, breathing in. And exhale, lower down. Good. Inhale, sweep your right arm up. Windmill yourself back to the top of your mat. Now feel the strength in both arms as you bring yourself forward and down. Inhale for your cobra or your up dog. And then draw your belly in as you come back to your down dog. Very good. Bend those knees left to right. And we've got one last little stretch that we're going to do here. We're going to walk ourselves forward to the top of the mat. Inhale into a halfway lift. And as you exhale, bend your knees and fold down. And then just let your torso and your body hang here. Stretch into those hamstrings. Do a couple of yeses and nos with your head. So our upper body should be feeling pretty strong, but let's now work into our lower body. So to begin with, bring your feet hip distance apart. Bend your knees quite generously, and then sweep your arms up into a chair pose with Katasana. And just breathe here. I'm going to do 5 breaths. No one likes it, but it's a really important pose. It strengthens this part of your body. It strengthens your hip flexors, strengthens your arms, your back. Usually the poses that are a lot harder, like plank or this one here, the ones that benefit us quite a bit. Sink a little deeper, 2 more breaths. And last one. Good. Fold yourself all the way forward. And just stretch into the backs of your legs. And when you're ready, if you've got some bricks, it's great to use them and just give yourself a bit of assistance. But if you don't have them, that's okay. You can just bring your hands onto the floor and bend your knees a little bit. Otherwise, take the bricks underneath your hands and bring them underneath your shoulders. So you're kind of in like an assisted halfway lift position. And from here, what I want you to do is engage your glute muscles, so the muscles of your butt, and then lift your right leg up behind you and come into Warrior 3, Virasana 3. See if you can lift up onto the tips of your fingers and find your balance here. And what I'd like you to do is engage the muscles of both of your thighs. When you engage the muscles of that thigh of the leg that's up in the air, it helps you to keep the leg nice and straight and strong. When you engage the muscles of the thigh of the standing leg, what you're doing is you're encouraging the little smaller muscles around the ankle joint to fire and help you balance, and in effect strengthening them and giving yourself a better ability to balance. So try to engage those muscles. Take 1 more big breath in, lift that leg up a little higher by engaging the glute. And exhale, lower the right leg down, bend your knees and fold forward. Good. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold all the way down. Just relax for a moment. And then from here, what I want you to do is come up into that halfway lift on those bricks again. And this time, lift your left leg up off the floor. Press the heel back behind you and engage that left thigh. Engage the muscles of your right thigh. And just hold here. You can feel the muscles firing in that right leg. You can feel the strength and the weight of that back leg. And this is not so much about taking your hands through to your heart center and practicing balancing, so much as it is today about strengthening that back leg strengthening the muscles around your right ankle. Just take one more big breath in. And as you exhale, fold everything forward and down. Good. Just notice your hips open up. Remove the bricks if they're still there. Come into your halfway lift. And from here, step your feet a little wider apart. Bend your knees and fold yourself down. Good. Drop your hips down to your heels, like so. And come into a, what's this one called? Malasana, Yogi squat. Bring your arms onto the insides of your legs, your palms together. And just start to draw your knees in as you press your arms out and try to relax your hips. Take 5 breaths here. Notice how your body feels. Should be feeling nice and strong. Core should be feeling nice and strong. As should your arms and your legs. We've got one last little strengthening posture we're going to do here before we wrap the class up. And I always like doing core stuff before we come onto our backs and rest, because we feel like we've really earned that rest. It's like an immediate release. So to begin with, what I want you to do is come down onto your sit bones, bring your feet out in front of you, and take your hands back behind you underneath your shoulders. So as you lean back, you don't want your wrists to be further back. That's how you injure yourself. As you lean back slightly, your hands should be directly under your shoulders. Keep your feet nice and grounded. And when you're ready, actually, if you've got a brick, if you don't have one, don't worry about it, it's all good. But if you've got a brick, you could bring it between your knees for this. And take those hands under the shoulders, and when you're ready, press down into the floor and lift your chest up, out of your shoulders. So what we want to do when we come into this pose in a moment is we don't want to have our chest dropping down. We want to lift our chest up and out from our shoulders. Hold here. Take a big breath in. A big breath out. And when you're ready, press down into your feet. Keep that chest lifted and lift your hips up into a reverse bridge. Pretty sure that's what it's called. And just hold here. You can either draw your chin upwards or you can let your head drop backwards. As you'd like, keep squeezing that brick if you've got it between your knees. Lift your hips up higher. And take 5 deep breaths in and out. Keep that chest lifting. 2, 3, 4, and one more, 5. After the exhale, gently drop your hips down. Nice. Bring yourself forward, remove the bricks away from you, away from that leg, and just come all the way onto your back. And resist the urge to hug the knees into the chest just yet. Just take a moment to rest here. Check in with that lower back and make sure it feels okay. And if it does, bring your knees in gently and slowly. And then take your legs out to a 90-degree angle. And from here, we're going to take our arms into cactus arms beside our shoulders. Drop our knees over to the right side. And see if you can keep your left shoulder grounded. Look over towards your left arm. Take 3 breaths. 2 more. Good, and then come back to center. Drop your knees over to the other side. And look over towards your right arm. Try to keep your right shoulder grounded. I find it harder to do so on this side. Maybe it's because I naturally twist to the left a little more frequently. So when I to the right a little more frequently. So when I twist my legs to the left, it just feels a little tighter through that mid-body. So that's where I'm focusing on relaxing. And when you're ready, come back to neutral. Bring your knees into your chest. Give them one gentle squeeze and draw your chin up off the floor And then release yourself onto the ground. You can either extend your legs or have your knees bent. Take one hand onto your belly, one hand onto your chest. And let's just take 10 deep breaths to kind of close the class and to take that time to tune into the body and to notice how you're feeling. As you breathe, focus on the tips of your toes and the tips of your fingers and feel them soften as you exhale. Take your awareness next to all of your feet and all of your hands. And as you exhale, feel them both soften and relax. Next, bring your awareness to your ankles, all the way up to your knee joints, from your wrists to your elbows. And exhale to feel that space soften. And bring your awareness from the knee joint up to the hips, and from the elbow joint up to the shoulders. And as you exhale, feel that space soften. And focus on the hips, all the way up to your shoulders, so that whole mid-body region, your core, your back. And then bring your attention to your throat and the back of your neck, all the way up to the top of your head. As you exhale, feel that space soften. And next, bring your attention to your forehead, to the muscles around your eyebrows, your eyes, cheekbones, jawbones, lips, nostrils. And as you exhale, feel that whole space soften. Got 3 more breaths here. Just take in your whole body, just become aware of all of it. And feel it soften. And finally, focus on the flow of your breath as it travels through your nostrils, into the back of your throat, your lungs, and your belly. And imagine that you're feeling your whole interior body soften. And finally, feel all of you, every single part of you, inside and out, just relax and soften into the mat. You can stay here if you'd like, or you can wriggle your fingers and your toes. Take a big stretch on a breath in. As you exhale, come into a nice seated position at the top of your mat. And make yourself comfortable. Notice how your body feels and how it's sitting right now. And just take one final big breath in and out. I hope that you enjoyed this class, and if you did, please press that subscribe button, like the video, or leave me a comment and let me know how you found it. Thank you, and I hope to see you again. Namaste.